Hi guys, Eddie from the shop. Today I'm going to be showing you how to replace a window regulator and motor assembly in a 2007 Saab 97X. Now this will also work for various TrailBlazers and obviously other year 97X models. So let's get started. You're going to begin by removing your door panel. I've already got this loose to make it easier. Basically there's two screws. I'm going to try and make it so you can see it. Okay. Down there under the armrest, there's a 10mm bolt, and then there's another 10mm bolt under your control panel here. So you want to take a screwdriver and pry your control panel up. And that will give you access to the second 10mm bolt, which will be back there, directly underneath. And like I previously said, I've already got these removed to make it a little bit easier. Alright, so after you have those removed, you're going to want to go ahead and unplug your control panel. Which I might have to set you down for a second while I do it, but you guys are about used to that by now. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 plugs you have to remove. So I'm going to set you down for a second and remove these. Okay, and there's your control panel removed. The wire for your seats you don't have to mess with, so just set that aside. So after you remove your wires, you want to make sure you disconnect the side of it from the door frame, and you'll simply just pop the rivets out. They're all plastic pop rivets, so you just give it a nice sharp tug and they'll pop out. After you get that done, you'll just remove the door panel. Now be careful because your mirrors still have a plug that's attached, so you can either, there you go. Alright, so at this point it gives you access to the inner door shield, which is basically just a sound dampener. You'll want to remove that. Try your best not to damage it because it is what keeps the road noise outside. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and remove this, and then I'll be right back. Okay, now that we have the panel pulled back, it gives us access to the inside of the door here. The easiest way to do this, typically what goes bad with these motors or these assemblies, is the cable breaks, which allows the window to slide up and down fairly easily, depending on what was put on it. So what you want to do is you want to slide it down to give you access to the two 10mm bolts that are holding the window in. So you've got one on this side, and then you'll slide it down and you'll have one right there. So you'll want to remove those 10mm bolts, and then the window will lift right out. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and remove them, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so after you remove the two 10mm bolts, you'll want to remove the rubber blade, or window scraper, whatever you want to call it. And that'll give you enough room between the window and the door frame to actually pull the window out. Be extremely careful when you're pulling the window out. It is very easy to break them if you get them at an angle. But you will have to work with it a little bit to get it out. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this window out, and then we'll work on pulling the regulator. Okay, so here's your window removed. I had to tilt it at a pretty extreme angle to get it out, but it came out fairly easy. Just take your time, go slow with it, and it will come out. So you want to set that in a safe place. I usually set them in the back seat. That way they don't fall and shatter. You'd be amazed at how easy you can shatter a window when it's out of a vehicle. So Alright, so now we are down to removing the window regulator and motor assembly. This is actually pretty easy. So, you've got 4 more 10mm bolts you need to remove. One here, one here, one here, one underneath your padding here, if you didn't pull it all the way off. Right there. I'm going to try to keep the camera on while I do this. That way you guys can actually see me doing something instead of just getting blanked out every time. This might be the one you can't see me. I don't know this. So, there's one removed. And these, the top ones, you don't have to remove all the way. You just loosen them enough to slide through this hole. I'll show you that in a second. Get these bottoms one out first, and we'll go from there. That would also be a really good time to get ready to disconnect the power to your motor. Okay, there's 2. Again, like I said, the top ones you don't have to loosen all the way, just enough to where you can actually move them. So we're going to go ahead and disconnect the power to the motor at this time. You just want to go ahead and grab a small flat blade screwdriver and push the tab in. One-handed it's kind of hard, and then push it down. That's all you do. So now that's disconnected. Let's move it to the side. Alright. At this point you just slide the regulator out. And it looks like I'm going to have to loosen that up. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a hidden bolt. So you have 5 bolts to remove this assembly. I apologize for that. Nobody's perfect and nobody knows everything. That's why we're on YouTube right now. Alright, so there we go. Aha. Alright, 5th bolt's out. Just slide that up. And now the whole assembly will fold on itself. You can carefully slide it out. Alright, that is how you remove the assembly. There's your old assembly. Now, like I said, the issue is usually in the cable breaking. Then snap clean off this one, so it had no way to lower or raise the assembly. So, alright, I'm going to turn it off for a while, guys. I've got to go get the part. We were waiting for it to come in. Should be in any minute. So I'm going to go up and grab it. When I come back, I'm going to show you how to put it back in. Okay, now we have the new regulator. We're going to go ahead and start installing it. So, same as before, you want your top 2 bolts loose, but installed. That way you can slide them into their spots. I'm going to grab the regulator. And you're going to very easily slide it back into the door here. Let's see how we can do this and as I do it. might have to set you down, try and get you where you can see a little bit. Okay. So once you have it in, you're going to just take your top and slide that in there. Same thing with the other side. Take it, just slide it in there. You want to reinstall the 10mm bolt that goes into the top here. You don't want to tighten them up yet, that way you can kind of move everything around to get it lined up. Alright, so that's lined up. Go ahead and fold it in. So that's that, it's just hand tight. Do the same thing over here. Tight, and now you just want to tighten everything up. You want to make sure they're snug, but you don't want to over tighten them and rip the threads out either, so be extremely careful when you do that. That's thin metal. Okay, so everything's tight. I'm going to go ahead and plug your window motor back in. At this point, you want to make sure that you plug your window switch back in. That way you have control of your regulator assembly now. So you turn your ignition switch on, and you'll want to raise that up just a little bit. Just enough to where you can have access to that bolt right there. And what that does is it allows you to install your window and tighten it up without any issues. Now once you get the window installed in this, you'll lower it back down so you can tighten that side up. So I'm going to shut it off for a second, slide the window back in, and get it tightened up. I'll be right back. Alright, so my friend Melanie is going to hold the camera for me so you guys can watch me put this window in. Be very careful because if you clean it with anything, it can be extremely slippery. What you want to do is put it in at an angle, very slowly. You may have to move your regulator from this one to get it in, which it looks like you're going to have to do. So you'll put your regulator all the way in the down position. This is going to be fun. Came out a lot easier than it went in. Just be patient with it because it will give you trouble sometimes. Here, let's try this way.
Do you want me to pull that up on the other side?
It's just getting, it's kind of goofy.
There you go.
As I said, you just have to be patient with it and you'll be able to work it in. At this point, you'll raise your regulator back up. Watch your fingers when you do so. You want to make sure it's to the point where it's going to slide into its guides. Alright, so thank you. At this point, you're going to want to loosen this bolt and also loosen the bolt on the other side of the catch. Slide your window in and then tighten them. So I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so once you have your window slid into position, you'll want to go ahead and tighten your two bolts up. So this one you'll have to tighten when the window's about midway down. See? And then you'll raise the other one back up to the top. And again, make sure they're snug, but do not over tighten them. Alright, so there's that one. Raise your window up. Gives you access to that one. Okay, now at this time you'll want to check the operation of the window. Make sure it goes all the way up without an issue, like that, and all the way down without an issue. There you go. Okay, so everything's great there. You want to put your trim back on the door. We'll put it upside down like I just tried to. That just slides back in. after you've got that done, you want to put your sound barrier back on. You might need to put some silicone or super glue or just some type of light adhesive to make sure it stays on there, which I'm going to go get right now, and I'm going to do that. And then you just put your door panel on. So, be right back. Okay, so I've got the sound dampener back on. Everything's in position. Make it go back together without a problem. So at this point, you're going to go ahead and disconnect your wiring harness from the window switch again. Sorry guys, this plug's being a little stubborn. There we go. I have to switch down for this plug for a second. Grab my screwdriver. Okay. So we got that taken care of. This ring was off when I took this apart. We're going to attempt to keep it on there for her. There you go. So your snap ring's back on. Yeah, if you don't mind. Okay, now that we've got everything ready, I'll make sure that all your lines are right through the hole for the window switch. Basically, just kind of slides back on and now you'll want to reinstall the two 10mm bolts that hold the door panel in. This one, of course, is trying to be stubborn. you guys go to reinstall these last 2 bolts, you'll notice they're a little stubborn, so just take your time and be patient. I'll go in. Okay, 2 bolts are reinstalled. Now you just want to plug in your window switch. It just slides back in. That is it. Thank you. And that is all. So, I'll check the operation one more time, make sure everything works. That works. Door locks work. Okay. So that's it, guys. As always, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Please like and subscribe. Keep supporting this so I can continue to bring you guys more videos in the future. If you have any repair that you would like to see, don't hesitate to ask. My email is always open, and I will put that at the end of the video. I really appreciate all your guys' support. Thanks. Have a good day.